Welcome back, everybody. Today is Friday, June 5th. Man, how time flies. It's great to see everybody. As we do every Friday, we're going to share with you what's going on in the county. Get your thoughts, your opinions. If you have questions, feel free to text them to us or send them in on Facebook, and we'll address those throughout the show. I think we're going to have plenty of time for questions today because I just got a few topics for you. But, boy, it is hot outside. Is anybody else roasting? My truck said 100 degrees as I was coming over from my office this afternoon from Fort Morgan. 100 degrees. Where did spring go? What I do know is it's dry out there. I was talking with some farmers this morning, and man, they're like, we didn't get our typical seasonal spring rains. We are dry. This heat, this wind, it's sucking it out of the ground, and I see it. The pasture grasses look dry. A lot of Colorado looks like it's in a drought. Right now, our region here in Weld County, we're not in a drought yet, but a couple days at 100, it's not going to take long to get there. So looks like they're calling for some storms this weekend, maybe some cooler weather next week. So we will see. But let's get this thing kicked off. There's a few things I wanted to touch base on. On Facebook, there's a lot of comments going around that there's going to be Antifa protests in Greeley this weekend, starting tonight. Citizens were concerned as they'd seen pallets of bricks laying around, and that's typically an Antifa sign that they're coming, because they do deliveries of bricks for their violent protesters to throw through business windows. But I want to let you rest assured, I've talked with Mayor Gates. Those bricks that were there were for the patio area to repave the bricks, and they've all been picked up. The project's done. There's no extra bricks laying around. What Mayor Gates did let me know is there are a couple groups tonight and tomorrow that are scheduled to protest and exercise their First Amendment rights, which they should absolutely be allowed to do. One's doing it over at Montfort Park, but they've pulled the proper permits. They've got all the proper clearances to have that protest. That's not typical of an Antifa protest. So I want to let people know Greeley's on top of it. I know Mayor Gates has been working with his police chief. As a county, we've been on top of it. We're going to be taking precautions ourselves just in case. Our sheriff's department is on top of it, and I want to talk more about the sheriff here in just a little bit because he needs our help, friends. But yeah, we're on top of it, but we aren't expecting this to be an Antifa-style protest, but yet we are taking the precautions, and I know business owners are being extra cautious this evening, and my hearts and prayers go out to you. One thing I do want to say, and I'd be remiss if I didn't, friend of the county's, a friend of mine, Brett Abernathy. Brett Abernathy was, he serves on our county council, and he was in a accident. He was working on a vehicle with his son, and had an accident out at his place a couple of weeks ago. Brett's in the fight for his life right now, my friends. I've been in contact with his wife, Sabrina, daily since the event occurred, and she asks for everyone's prayers. I've been praying for him daily, and I would ask that if you know Brett, lift him up, please. He needs them. Sabrina needs the prayers, as do the kids, because Brett is going through some challenging times right now as they're dealing with the burns that he sustained, and I just know Sabrina would take our prayers, and I ask you lift him up if you don't mind, and keep him and the family there. A couple other things I wanted to go over. It's been a busy week at the county. Let's start off with what's going on with the sheriff's department. Here's another friend that needs our help. Sheriff Reams does an excellent job for Weld County. I couldn't be happier and prouder of the sheriff that we have representing us and protecting us. He takes his office to a new level. I believe he always upholds the Constitution. But right now, he's under attack. He's been dealing with some things this spring, but who's coming at him right now? No other than the Colorado State Legislature. It's a bipartisan attack, my friends. What's been thrown at him is Senate Bill 20-217. Again, that's 20-217. I want to talk to you about what is involved in this bill so that maybe you can understand why I'm a little upset about this. Again, this has support from both sides of the aisle, and it's a knee-jerk reaction to the protests and the looting and the scenario that's been playing out across the country. See, we talked about this last week as we were talking about the riot and looting going on out in Minnesota and Minneapolis. And as we were doing this later that night, Colorado had its own riots and protests where they destroyed public property. Well, instead of trying to find calmness and reason in a time like this, our legislature has decided to put forth a bill that really penalizes cops, which is sad because they're penalizing an entire group of people for a few, very few bad apples. What this bill does is it holds officers personally liable should someone not like how they've been treated. And it goes a little farther than that. See, there's a lot of facets to this bill that are quite scary for our law enforcement. And then I'll tell you why the state takes it even a step further to make this bill even more crooked, in my opinion. See, what happens is, let's just say we have an officer on the street that acts like the one in Minneapolis did, which is unfortunate, very unfortunate. But what the family can do, or the person that feels wronged, is they can sue that officer and sue him for malfeasance, essentially, right? Which I can understand in that officer's case. But you know what else they get to do? They also get to sue, and if let's carry this out, let's say it was in Weld County. They can also sue the sheriff, right? Because he's a supervisor of that direct officer. They don't stop there. This bill allows them to then sue the county. No limits, no protections, and they can do it. Here's where it gets even crazier. Let's say I'm just a simple witness to this incident, but I just feel distraught about it. The way this bill is laid out, I could bring a lawsuit against the sheriff, against the county, and sue them without limit. Where in the world did this become a great idea? As CCI, as our county commissioners group, we met this afternoon and had a lot of debate about this. We're taking the stance that we're against this bill. We're against it without amendments. And there's a couple good parts in there. They're asking for body cams. You know, I do like the body cam idea. As Mayor of Eaton, we were able to get all of our officers body cams that they wear 24/7. They wear them right here. They hit a simple button. They go on a call, and the camera comes on. It's recorded. We keep that stuff in multiple hard drives with redundancies so that we protect not only the citizen, but we protect the officer. Because those cameras play both ways. They help all parties involved show an accurate statement of what was going on in the scenario. So that's one of the parts of the bills that I think has some credibility to it. We saw it firsthand how it helped us out in Eaton. Not every police jurisdiction has those capabilities, and they haven't all brought them on yet, but maybe it would help them out too. But friends, when we start putting our officers' liability on the line, and with no protections from the county, see, what's happened is it doesn't allow our county insurance to step in and protect the sheriff the way this bill is brought forth. Play this out in your local jurisdictions, your local police departments, and you can see where the problem is, because it's the same thing. Does your community have an endless budget to protect against frivolous lawsuits? Coming from the town of Eaton, where we were extremely fiscally prudent, I know we didn't have an endless budget to fight these types of battles. But here's where it gets even funner, friends. What did they do? They offered up an amendment last night in committee to where they exempted the state police from this very bill. So what they're saying is it's good for the goose, but not for the gander. Well, what are they saying? We only want a state police department. We don't want a sheriff. We don't want a municipality police patrol. Because I don't know how we would have the availability to hire local police at a community, at a sheriff's department, Why would they want to put their families' livelihoods on the line? Say they were just an assisting officer and they didn't do anything wrong. They're brought into the suit as well. It's hard enough to get the men and women that we need to stand up for us and take on that role because it's such a thankless job. But yet they serve, they protect us, they protect our rights. And now we're telling them, we want to sue you till you can't pay anymore. And they can't put their families' lives in jeopardy. In fact, I've been contacted by many municipal police departments today. They're preparing their resignations if this passes. They cannot put their families in that type of jeopardy. And frankly, friends, I don't blame them. So we need your support. Call your legislators. Call them, talk to them about 20-217 and tell them how this bill does not fly. Knee-jerk reactions in these times never solve a problem. In fact, they always tend to swing the pendulum 180 the other way, which is just as bad. Stand up for Sheriff Reams. Let him know that you care about him. Send him a note. Say you back him. Talk to your local municipality. Let them know you back their police department. I know we have great men and women that serve us on a daily basis. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the job that they do. And they shouldn't be lumped into a category for a few bad apples. Every industry has a few bad apples, and we can't classify them all in the same manner. I know you guys will do the right thing. Stand with me as we protect them. What else are we working on at the county? Well, a couple things. It's been an extremely busy week. In fact, while we're talking right now, we are having a meeting with our municipal leaders, being the town managers and the mayors from all 32 of our municipalities, as we come to an agreement on the CARES Act funding that we fought so hardly for. And thank you for making your voices and our voices be heard so that we got some money. Talked to you last week how we're getting money. It's going to be about $27.5 million for Weld County that we get to apply for. We don't just get it. That money has to be allocated to COVID-related expenses. It can't be used to backfill a budget or a budget shortfall. It has to be used for actual expenses. Well, we as a county, we've been incurring majority of the expenses for the communities across Weld County in our unincorporated areas. We've been buying the PPE, we've been providing the services to help make everybody feel comfortable in these times and provide those safety measures, face masks, gloves, eye protection, gowns. We've been providing all that free of charge. So we'll be able to backfill those coffers. But what we're looking at right now and what this meeting is, and I'm going to jump on it as soon as we're done here today, but I feel it's so important to keep these lines of communication open with you. I still wanted to have this. The other commissioners know where I sit. And what we're doing right now, though, is we're getting feedback from our communities on how we want to split this money up. See, the other counties around Colorado are having these same discussions. And what we're looking at is maybe it's a per capita split, kind of like it is all across the country. 55% to the county, 45% to the municipalities. Well, we're looking at something a little more here, right? Because we're not just worried about covering our expenses that we've incurred with COVID-19 and what we anticipate incurring through 2020, the end of 2020. We have an opportunity here to help our businesses out. We have an opportunity to prop them up when they've been hurt the most. How many of them had to shut their doors? Well, that's what we're here to do, is we're here to bring a financial assistance program to those businesses, and that's what we're getting feedback from our communities on how they'd like that to look, how much they'd like that to look, how much they'd like it to be, It's important we have our partners engaged, and that's what we're doing so that we make it fair and equitable to the best of our ability for all of Weld County. The other counties across the state don't have 32 municipalities to be concerned about. We do. And we take it very seriously, because whether you're in Fort Lupton, Lock, Bowie, whether you're in Erie, whether you're in Greeley, whether you're in Rogan, whether you're in Briggsdale, whether you're in Carr, whether you're in Eaton or Windsor. So you're all part of Weld County, and I'm standing up for you to make sure that we hear your voice. So I appreciate your time as we do that, and we're going to find a solution here. So that's one of the things we're working on right now. and we'll continue to work on throughout the weekend. We have to have our plans submitted to the state by the end of the month. And that means we got to get 32 municipalities to buy into it, sign off on it, and agree to it. And that way we can apply for the money, because we're not just guaranteed the money. What else have we been working on? Earlier this week, I think I teased you a little bit about it in my earlier meeting with you on Facebook Live, and I'm going to be doing more of those. We talked about the COG, our Continuity of Government group. And we're looking at standing that down a little bit. But what we're doing is we're doing a midterm assessment. We're looking back how we handled this scenario, this COVID-19 scenario from the very start. What could we have done differently? What did we do good? What did we not do so good at that we could improve upon? So that if we see a second spike or an increase in cases, we can react better and make sure we have a stronger reaction and a more proper reaction for Weld County. That brings us to our next thing, which is opening up. What we did Monday night is Weld County, our county attorney prepared a legal brief for the county commissioners, which we are sharing all around the county. Johnstown was the first community to see this Monday night as we showed up at their town meeting because they had questions on how to open up in the COVID-19 pandemic. We shared with them, showing them that the governor's orders have not been legally executed. In fact, his public health orders have never been codified. Then he passes them off to Jill Ryan, where she had the opportunity to make them legal orders, binding orders that could be enforced. Hasn't happened, friends. And that's what we've been saying from Weld County from the very start. See, even in times of emergency, even in times of pandemic, the rule of law is applicable. Meaning your rights, your freedoms, your liberties, they don't take a break. The rule of law has to be held up. That's what we are doing here in Weld County. So I encourage you, I implore you, open up if you feel comfortable. You don't have to. Weld County's not going to make you. We are giving you tools so that if you feel comfortable opening up your business, you can do so in a safe manner. If you feel impelled to open up your church, your place of worship, do so. Use common sense. Just like we've said from the start of this, Weld County residents, their business owners, have common sense. They've applied it throughout this pandemic. I couldn't be prouder of them. But now's the time, ladies and gentlemen. I think I read a statement today, 80% of our businesses are back open. I know I'm going out and visiting restaurants, I'm shopping, and I feel safe. Some businesses are asking me to wear a face mask. Some are not. If they do, I do my best to put a face mask on. I'll be honest, I forget once in a while to have my face mask with me. But I try and honor what that business is asking of me. But I encourage you, open up. As a small business owner myself, I've taken precautions so that I can open up. See, we had to basically shut our doors for 6 weeks while business essentially ceased. We did our best to reach out to my customers. We did our best to make sure they knew we were thinking about them. But we needed to open. So I got some rules on the door. Said, please, wash your hands, right? Come in, we have hand sanitizer for you. Wear a mask. Keep 6-foot social distancing. That's what I'm asking my customers to do, and they're working with me on it. Just like I'm sure you're working with those businesses you choose to go to. We've had to change how we're doing it, but what I'm slowly starting to see is business is starting to pick back up. I'm excited. Are you excited? I feel just the energy inside Weld County. I was listening to the jobs report as I was driving over here, and I think 2.5 million jobs were added to the market here, bringing unemployment down to 13.5 million Americans or was it 13.5%? Excuse me. So I stand corrected there. Economy's coming back up. If you look at the financial markets, they're coming back strong. Oil and gas is coming back strong. You cannot stop the ingenuity of the American workforce. It is the greatest thing in the world, if you ask me. We need to support it. That's what we're going to do through this CARES Act to the best of our ability as Weld County Commissioners. We're going to help out those businesses so they can apply to get support. I don't know what that answer is, how it's going to look yet, as it's meetings going on right now. But I look forward to getting on there and hearing what the communities come up with. With that, did we have any questions come in, Sherry?
Yeah, a couple.
Okay.
First of all, your friend Mike makes the point, if this Senate bill passes,
Mm-hmm.
will cameras then become another unfunded mandate that the cities and county will have to bear?
So Mike asked the question, if the Senate bill passes, will those body cams we just mentioned, will that become another unfunded mandate that the communities and that the counties have to bear? Yep. As you guessed it, Mike, right? There's no money inside of this bill to do it. In fact, I saw the fiscal impact of this bill is well over $1 million. This is what I've been told. This bill is going to pass. Whether you like it or not, this bill is going to pass. Now, you have the ability to try and tweak it to get it better, but this bill is going to pass. What in the world is going on down there? First of all, if you or I want to go down there and let our voices be heard, do you think we can? I'll give you the answer. It's no. So they're passing bills, knee-jerk reaction bills that have strong implications, and they're not allowing us to have our voices be heard. Now, you can supposedly submit it online. You can ask to be part of that, but I don't think that process is near as strong for letting the people's voice be heard. See, here's a scary thought. Think if it becomes so financially detrimental to have a sheriff's department, we have to close it. Think if it becomes so financially detrimental, communities can't have their own police departments, and they have to shut. Who's the only law enforcement game left in town? It's the state. Sounds a little scary to me, right? Seems very political. Scary. Scary, scary. Do we have another question, Sherry?
On a more positive note.
Oh, good. I need positive. It's Friday afternoon, right?
You've been commissioner for a while.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the job?
Okay, so Sherry asked, I've been commissioner for a while. What's my favorite part of the job? I'll have to say, I get up every morning. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I can't get to work soon enough. I'm loving it. The people we have at Weld County, I've said this before, they bring me so much energy because they are just that amazing in what they do. What I enjoy the most is as we look at policy, as we look at procedure, I enjoy the thorough conversations that we have as county commissioners and also involving our department heads. I think we have a group of people that comes together and we are able to throw out idea after idea and bat them around and critique them in an open, honest conversation without fear of hurting feelings, and say that's a good idea or that's a bad idea and here's why, and come to a stronger idea. That mental collaboration that is going on is the funnest thing I think that I am enjoying, because it's stretching me. And to have that challenge on a day in, day out basis, I'm just like, yeah, let's get after it, right? I look forward to it. And everybody has a different angle and a new way to look at things that I don't look at, and I contribute, they contribute, and we come up with, I really believe, the best solution for Weld County. And that's what excites me the most. Did we have any other questions?
No, tell them about your town hall meeting on Monday.
Okay, great. So thank you for having me plug that, Sherry. Next thing I want to talk to you about, Monday night, you're going to be getting a call from the Weld County Commissioners. If you'll remember, we did this back in May. We did a State of the County address and called out to all the Weld County numbers, and you get to listen in. We're doing that again. When we did our little poll during that call, 97% of you said, we like this format. Help us stay engaged. Help us know what's going on at the county. And we heard you loud and clear. So we're doing another one Monday night to bring you up to speed. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the CARES Act. We're going to talk about the county fair. And, you know, that's one of those great things that goes on here for our youth. And we are still doing it here in Weld County. Many counties have decided to cancel their county fairs. We are not. We believe in our youth. We want them that they've worked so hard on their projects. They're going to get their opportunity to come and share them and still have our county fair. A few things will be a little different. We won't have like the carnival. We won't have the dance, some of those little extras. But if they have a project or they have animals to show, they're going to get that opportunity. So I'm excited about that. So we're going to be giving some updates on Monday night's call. I encourage you to call in if you have questions there you'd like the commissioners to answer. Again, you'll be able to press the button, submit those questions. You can also do it online. And we look forward to that interaction with you, because communication is not a one-way street. It's a dialogue between both of us, and that's how things get solved. With that, you know, it was interesting. I was doing an interview with the Greeley Tribune this morning, and one of the questions he said is, it's kind of along the lines of what Sherry just asked me. But he said, you know, there's a stark contrast between you and your opponent. And he said, you've talked an awful lot about the role of county commissioner and really this administrative sense of it. And he says, what's the thing you found most different from what you've expected, I guess, coming into this role? And it is administrative. You know the role is there, but that is the role. See, we have to manage the county. And yes, politics play a part of it. But you know what politics are, in my opinion, for me, as I'm down there? It's my principles. It's my guiding principles that say this is what we're going to stand for. We're going to stand for personal liberties. We're going to stand for rights. We're going to be fiscally responsible. And that's how I govern. That's how I administer. This county commissioner role is very unique from many other elected positions. You go to the state, and it's a political hubbubaloo, right? And you get these special projects, and oh man, I'm for this, I'm for that, and yada yada yada, and that's all they talk about. But they never solve a problem, because if they solve the problem, then they don't get campaign finance dollars for it, right? They need to keep it a problem. That's not what we do here. We have to solve the problems. And that's why we have great conversations, because we don't get the opportunity to punt and say, nah, let's just keep that an issue. Nah, that's not how we work in Weld County. We're going to fix those things. Sometimes we have to come back and address them. You got another question?
I want you to talk about the campaign.
Okay, I got to close with talking about the campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, ballots go out to Monday. You'll get them in the mail starting Tuesday. It's so important. I'm running for election. I am going to do the best job possible for you. I need your support. I need you to get that ballot in, and I ask you to punch the ticket for me. Let your friends, let your family members know who I am, how I operate. If they have questions, send them to my website, kevinrossforweld.com. They can watch videos, answer questions. We have a whole bunch of information about who I am, what I believe in. If there's more questions, they can send me an email. Trust me, I answer those emails, just like I answer your replies or questions on Facebook. We still need volunteers. We still need financial contributions as we're wrapping this up, ladies and gentlemen. We made some great gains this week, and I appreciate your support. We still have a little ways to go so that we can finish up our campaign here for this primary, which ends June 30th. So you're going to get your ballots this upcoming week. They have to be in and counted by June 30th. So I'm counting on you. This is where the rubber meets the road. I promise to do my very best job for you day in, day out, just like I have since the start of this. Remember, I got appointed on a Monday night at about 10:30, and I was at work for you 9 a.m. the next day. I'm passionate about what I do, and I will do the best job for Weld County. You know, we need a new leadership. We need a new generation of leadership here. That's what I'm bringing, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be working with you and for you. So with that, if there's any other questions, you can always fire them off to me. It's a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great Friday and a safe weekend.